welcome to Manga Machinations. This is episode number 400. Woo! We're doing a manga in motion. I'm Dakazu, and with me is Darfox 8.
Yo, what's up?
Morgana Santilli.
Hi, everybody.
And Seamus Tier 1 Bye. Can you hold that up closer to the camera?
Oh, hold on.
So everybody can see.
This is not actually going to be staying on. So
There we go.
this is to honor the brave soldiers who died in Benghazi.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
This is episode 400. We've done 400 episodes on Manga Machinations, and to celebrate, for the first time ever, this is a video podcast. We're going to put out an audio form, so that will be on our RSS feed, of course. But, Dar, where are we going to post this? On our YouTube, you think?
Yeah, we're posting it on YouTube, so I recommend everybody listen to the audio. If possible, check out the YouTube because we will be making references to stuff visually. We probably describe them somewhat, but we will be holding stuff up to our cameras and showing it off. So, obviously, thank you for downloading the audio version. But if you can swing it, try the video version at least this one time. It's a special occasion, fellas.
You can see everyone's beautiful faces, except mine. I'm covering it.
Or Seamus's because of time zones and light.
Yes.
Yes, it's still bright here in Ireland. So, and I guess the light in this
Crazy.
room is a bit. Well,
It's like past 9 over there, but I didn't realize how the latitude of Ireland.
We're very
Makes
north.
sense.
Well,
Yeah.
the downside is come December it'll be dark till 9 in the morning, and then it'll get dark, and then it'll brighten up till about 4 or 5 o'clock. So you literally go into work and it's
Wow.
dark, and you leave when it's dark.
That is crazy.
I thought it was bad up here, but that sounds rough.
We're
I'm
more
used to
north again.
that kind of swing in the Northeast growing up in New York, but yeah, crazy stuff. Well, yeah, hey, video podcast. So, Dar, you have some things you want to show off, in the background? You want to show off,
Oh, you just
Maybe
show off
put-
my set, like.
I mean, we stream together, and you have your stream cam, so people should be mostly
This
used
is
to you.
my studio, but actually normally my stream cam's to my right. When I'm streaming, I usually don't care too much, but you can see my CPAP machine and my dirty nightstand. But I switch it to my left just so that I can see some more of my books and stuff like that, and my dark closet. But I just wanted to switch it over. So I mean, I don't have much. This is just where I do everything. I do everything here. I play games. I read manga here. I record podcasts here. I stream. I edit here. So
Sleep, eat,
Mhm.
shower.
Definitely eat sometimes. not shower. Not shower.
I thought you were going to show off your pochita.
Oh wait 1 second. Yeah, hold on.
We're getting ahead of him.
Yeah. This was
So cute.
Oh, look at that!
Over here.
yeah. Here it is.
Yeah.
He
So cute.
kissed me.
Oh, so cute!
That seems like a very lethal kiss.
Yeah.
Pochita from Chainsaw Man.
It has a little handle because he's a chainsaw.
Right?
So, but this handle I'm scared of because I feel like it's gonna
Pop off.
come off, the
Yeah.
sewing's gonna come loose.
You
So
mean
I don't
you're
touch
not
it
gonna
much.
Just rip into it. Go for it.
Yeah, no.
See if he revs up.
Did Amber make that for you? I forget.
No, she bought it. It
Okay.
came. You might be able to tell. There's some creases in it because it came vacuum sealed and really crunched up and small. And eventually, when you opened up the packaging, it kind of expands up by itself. But you can see kind of the creases where it was in storage. It's kind of it kind of looked like one of those fresh vacuum carpet. Where you see those lines, you're oh yeah, that's nice and clean. Even though it's not, it just has these permanent creases on them. Then this isn't necessarily manga related, but another plushie. I have 2 plushies. Very proud. This is a Sir Bot plushie. I bought this just on my own because
favorite video game ever, Mega Man Legends.
that's
People
right, Mega Man
don't know.
Legends.
Darfox
I
is a huge Mega Man Legends nut.
He has a little curry rice
That's so cute.
plate that's magnetic, and it just pop.
Oh, that's fun.
And it does have articulation, you can feel it has a skeleton inside, so you can pose this one a little bit. So This was semi-expensive. I mean, expensive for plushies, I think, but I don't buy that many plushies, so I don't honestly know what the going price for them was. But it was a little bit of a penny, but it's cool. I'm glad I bought it.
I should have brought my Emeraldus plush up here for the plush show and
Oh,
tell.
We still have the second half. We can start off with like that stuff as well. So
oops! I just knocked
it
over
always
manga.
happen.
Yeah. Did we lose
Give me,
Seamus?
yeah, we lost Seamus. Give me a second.
Oh, he's back.
I mean, let's be fair. Seamus is in Ireland, so
Wait,
this
let's
is
make
a
sure.
questionable thing of whether this is gonna like actually
Cut
be
out.
happening. So
No.
if Seamus drops a couple times, I'm sure that will be the case.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. So Seamus is back and his waveform is back too. So we're officially in business.
Technical difficulties for episode 400. Woo!
It
All right,
wouldn't be an episode of Manga Machinations without some technical difficulties.
I know, right?
I'm
Internet
sure everybody.
podcasts.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody deals with them though.
well, that
He switched Wi-Fi, so looks okay now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
so that's my set. I don't know if y'all want to introduce your set, your studio set.
No, I don't want to introduce my set. My set is my bedroom. So no. The answer is no, buddy.
Oh, we lost him
Morgana
again.
can like, I don't know. Morgana said she brought a book for like what you've been reading.
I
so.
did. I brought some books to show off. Yeah, this is my office where I do my work, and I'm not going to show you most of it because it's a disaster. But I do have some bookcases over here. This is 2 of the bookcases that live in my house.
Mhm.
I think we have like 13 bookcases because I'm nuts. But this one right here, closest to me, is all Yen Press books, and it's
Of
full.
course,
It's overfull. In fact,
it's
so
overflowing with
it
like
is
prison
overflowing.
school.
No, I don't think I have any prison school. I do have most or all of Haruhi Suzumiya, which I have
Lovely.
not read, but I have it.
Is that the light novels or like the
Light
manga
novels,
adaptation?
yeah, the
okay.
novels. I have still not successfully read a full light novel. I'm trying. They're a little challenging. The writing style is very different than what I'm used to. So
Yes, I might
We did
say
one-
not great.
it's not, the one I was reading, it's in the present tense, which I often have a hard time reading. So it's just taking me a while to get through it because I have to kind of like, gear up for it. It's not bad. It's an enjoyable story, but I am just not used to it. So, but yeah, no, I don't have a whole lot. I've got some artwork that you probably can't see very well. This is Edward Gorey Dracula because I love Edward Gorey. This here is it's a box of Camel cigarettes with camels coming out of it. Fun fact, I collect Camel cigarette memorabilia. I don't smoke. I've never smoked. But I really like camels, like the animal. So I have a lot of interesting and weird Camel cigarette memorabilia.
That is a fun fact. That is something
Yeah.
I did not know about you.
It started because I found a silk scarf at an antique shop, like a square silk scarf with the camel print on it, and it was an actual promotional item at some point in Camel's history. So, and I loved it. So here we are. I collect Camel memorabilia.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make a point that I'm wearing an N7 hat, which is from Mass Effect. I'm not a diehard Mass Effect fan. In fact, I get pretty annoyed if I ever wear this hat out in public. I get a lot of people be like, "Oh yeah, great hat, love Mass Effect." I'm just like, "Yeah, I get Mass Effect." Woo.
You're like, have you seen Babylon 5? No, well, get back to me when you've seen it.
Basically, yeah. This is one of the only hats that I have, and so I wear it often. But I should really get another hat that more like expresses my interests.
I have a Yu-Gi-Oh hat like that, a baseball cap that I never wear because I don't wear baseball caps. But you can find a Yu-Gi-Oh one somewhere.
When you get a Billy Bat cap, and that's the ultimate test. Somebody comes up to you like, "Well, you like Billy Bat?" And you're like, "Sure do." And you both start singing the Billy Bat song.
Oh my
And then you
gosh!
start talking about how steel beams don't melt.
Yeah, yeah.
Fantastic.
Jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams.
Mm.
Only belly bats melt steel beams.
I'm putting Seamus on the spot here a little bit, but in your room, you have a lot of stuff on the wall.
I do. It's all right. I have no idea now what to show.
Oh, you don't have to get. Oh my gosh! Look at
Here we
this.
go.
I can't actually move this. There's so many wires plugged in.
Okay, that's
It's
fine.
a-
That's fine. You can just explain it.
It's a combination of there was a crowd. They're not really running anymore. They were called Darfox. They were like this. What would you call them?
Oh yeah.
Kind of indie comedy distributor.
Hmm.
But like if you got, they'd send out like collections every month, every 3 months. I think it was every 3 months, or every 2 months. But they put in a print with it. I don't think I have actually the comics here, but it's those prints. And then last year I spent so much. I got obsessed with watching the foxes, and I realized my phone is really shit at taking photos. So I just bought an actual camera. So that's the other half of stuff. Is just I don't know photos I took like I don't know last summer when I was cycling all over Dublin because there wasn't a whole lot else to do at the time.
Oh, that's great. And you
Cool.
just
That's
like
awesome.
print them out and like put them up on your wall.
Mhm.
It's awesome.
I think one of them is actually a postcard that I got from that like trip to the British Museum.
Oh yeah, I have mine somewhere. Where is it?
I have mine on my work desk, which is not here. So
Listen, my wife always talks about wanting to go to Ireland. So when like COVID stuff finally calms down, I'm gonna go see Seamus. It's gonna happen.
You gonna go
It's
visit
gonna be
those
very
foxes?
expensive.
I'm gonna
I'll tell
have
you that
what
now.
it's probably, and then I'm gonna have one pint with Seamus, and I'll be very drunk, and Seamus will be like, "What?
Be like lightweight.
I'm a
Like, we're-
toucan Sam."
We're doing sambuca.
Sambuca. Ew.
Sambuca and water. That's my drink of choice.
Yuck. Yuck.
We all
The
got our
water
drinks.
gets rid of the bad aftertaste. That's all I'll say.
anybody
Well,
want to have four locals with me?
Oh God,
No.
no!
If
Please.
you got the original ones, I'd
No, I don't have the original. I never had the original ones. I don't know
You
what they're
can
like.
make the original.
Actually, no. I was gonna say, yeah, we don't need really. We just need Four Loko and vodka, and we can. That'll do the job.
I'm shaking my head. This seems
I-
like a bad idea.
Sounds
Don't you need
gross.
Red Bull in there too? Like, isn't that the whole deal?
I think so.
Why
Yeah.
does it not have does Four Loko not have caffeine anymore?
No,
Is it only
that
sugar?
they took out all the energy drink stuff from it.
Yeah. You're
Because
better
people
off
were- okay.
getting that effect by having a Red Bull and vodka.
People were crashing hard, so it was causing issues. So
Mm,
it got outlawed.
in that case, yeah, no, because you're right. We should just go straight to the Red Bull and vodka.
We will not. But okay.
Manga Machinations does not condone reckless drinking and stunts.
All I'm saying is, it's like 1:00 at night. You're tired. You're like, it's only 1:00. I don't want to go to bed
Only
for a few more hours.
Only.
That's when you get out the vodka and Red Bull. That'll keep you going for a few more hours.
Maybe if I was 20 years younger, sure.
Is Buckfast still a thing over there?
Yeah, you can still
Okay.
buy Buckfast over here. I think is it a bigger thing in Scotland? I think it's a bigger thing in Scotland, but like, yeah, you can just get it in shops over here.
What's
Okay.
Buckfast?
It's a tonic wine. It's like 12 to 14%. It tastes like cough syrup, but like it'd be like a tenner a bottle, or at least it was something like 10 or 15 euro a bottle. Like, so like if you just want to get fucked up on the cheap real quick, like Buckfast
yeah.
is
Sounds
the way
like
to
the
go.
equivalent of like people like drinking Listerine to get drunk. That's terrible.
Yeah, but this is like 14%, and it's meant to be
Yeah.
drunk, unlike Listerine.
Okay.
The saying was Buckfast gets you fucked fast. I remember hearing that.
Or Bucky
Absolutely
Blue.
ridiculous.
I think it's a bigger thing in like Scotland. They're more. I think it's from Scotland actually, but yeah, no, I remember Buckfest from when I was younger, and I never really. It was too sweet for me. Like I was like, nah, I'm not doing this.
I remember Buckfast from Pause when I was younger.
Right. The good old bad days.
Someone did mention this recently, but I can't remember the conversation. I think, but it was like, yeah, that's kind of the thing you drink when you're in college, and you're just like, right, I just want to get really drunk, and it's going to do it for less than €20. So there you
Yeah.
go.
See?
But I don't know, like getting a nag and a vodka and just down that.
See, if only you guys got drunk like me, where it's all you need is Uno beer. And if you really want to party, it's Duo beer.
A Miller Light, and then you're good. You're done.
Pretty much. I also get sober really fast. I've mentioned this before, but it
that's-
just goes through my system really quickly.
You're
That's
just
a
like the
trick.
Flash. Are you
Yeah,
sure you're not
basically.
you sure you're not a speedster?
Everybody's like, yo, it's starting to get lit, and it's midnight, and I'm just like, I'm getting a hangover. My head hurts. Yeah.
I
Speaking of water.
drink very slowly, so I don't get drunk fast, and everybody else will be drunk, and I'll be just like, "Oh, I'm on my second drink, and I'm feeling okay." Like, so, but
But yes, we're not just here to talk about our drinking
no,
experiences. We're
I'm
here to talk
drinking
about manga.
tea
We're gonna make
right
a quick
now.
transition over into some what you been reading, and I don't know if we're gonna have an audio cue here in the video podcast. Probably not. But
Seamus is
Dun
just
dun 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 dun.
I think Seamus went to go get what
Dun,
he's
dun.
reading or something. But yeah. Anyway, Morgana, you had something, right?
yes. I had mentioned so. I guess I had mentioned last week, which by the time this podcast comes out, be two episodes ago. Um, my friend Zach runs a small press called Bulgihan, and he just came out with this is actually not technically out yet. I pre-ordered it and it came early, but it's debuting at TCAF next weekend, which when this podcast comes out will be last weekend, I think.
Let's
Um,
not get into technical things about like when this
yeah,
is being recorded.
but it's Stray. It's called Stray by Molly
Mm.
Mendoza. And it's a really beautiful book about Jack, and they are kind of dwelling on bad past relationships, kind of thing. It's very moody. It's very um, fraught, and they find someone called Stray and take them in. And it's what's really interesting about this is that Stray is, and even Jack at some points is portrayed as a cat. Um, you can see there's a cat on the back of the book. But they are human, I think. This is the page that has been on the Bulgilhan social media. It's just really beautiful artwork.
Wow. People
Yeah, no,
should watch
it's
the video podcast so they can see these beautiful
yeah,
pages.
it's really nice. I don't want to show too much off. It's print only. I don't think Zach has plans on doing digital, but they're really lovely books. This is very beautiful textured paper, and they're all short. I actually have a couple other stuff that he's published. Um, there's Threshold, which is a book about kind of gender identity and kind of coming to terms with one's gender identity. Also, really lovely artwork. This one's printed in like a glossy cover.
Yeah, you could
Um,
tell how glossy it is just
yeah,
from.
shiny.
Yeah.
And then there's Faster, which I really enjoyed. This was Faster and Threshold came out at the same time, and I thought I was going to be. I loved them both. I thought I was going to prefer Threshold. I actually really like Faster, even though it's about racing. I just love the artwork
Oh wow.
in this one. Yeah, and I also it came with a print, um, which is really great. So. Yeah, so this is my I mean, I guess I'm biased. This is my friend's press, so I'm really into it. But my friend Zach and I went to college together. He is not an illustrator. He has written self-published some written stuff. He's written comics, he's written with other artists, but he started Bulgilhan in 2020 and has just kind of slowly been, you know, getting it off the ground, and they're debuting it at TCAF. Um, the logo, I don't know if you can tell here, it's a left hand. Bulgilhan is Korean for sinister or like left. Um, my friend Zach is left-handed, so it's just kind of a fun little joke, but yeah. Um, I don't know. This I think is my favorite. Again, just came out. My favorite of the things that he's done so far, and he works with some really incredible artists. And I don't know exactly what he's doing next, but he's kind of been teasing some stuff on the Bulgilhan social media, and it looks really good. So I don't know if you're into like indie comics, like the short box stuff you were mentioning, Seamus. I know that Zach is friends with the person who was running Shortbox. I think this is very much the same, kind of in the same vein. Indie comics, short form. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away because they're short. There's not like, and it's not a story so much as like I don't know, an atmosphere, a mood. And
the
I would
piece.
Oh,
love to show all of this to you, but it's not cool. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
like. But yeah, that's what I read Stray this week. In addition to the stuff that we were reading for n- next this week's podcast. So yeah, that's it
Yeah, I forgot to
for
mention
me.
at the top, but like we're doing a manga motion for the main segment, and we watched the Classmates like OVA. I want to say maybe movie. It's very
It's
short for
short.
movie, so
Hmm.
Well, it sounds like it was a theatrical release, so it wasn't a direct to video
okay. So it was a
deal. So
movie.
so by definition, it wasn't like an OVA. I think
Hmm.
those deal with those.
They're
But yeah,
direct
it's
to video,
short.
basically. Yeah,
It was 1 hour, so it's very crisp.
but we'll talk about that in our main segment. Okay, that's
Yeah.
wonderful, Morgana. Thanks so much for sharing. And
Yeah,
what a refreshing thing where we can actually see the book
I
on
know it's
Yeah.
video.
cool. It's cool.
Wow.
Wow.
All right, Darfox, you have something this week?
Yeah. Got this nice, cool, refreshing of Diet Coca Cola.
We're not sponsored
Careful.
by them.
Product
We're not
placement.
sponsored by them. I got my
Hold
Diet
on.
Pepsi right here.
Oh.
Wait, Diet Pepsi? You can't do that.
Listen, man, Diet Coke tastes really weird to me. There are types of people. They are either Diet Coke fans or Diet Pepsi fans. I'm a Pepsi fan.
I Diet Pepsi tastes like acid to me, so I'm the other type brain type.
Yep, I've
I'm
heard
Uh,
this.
I
I'm
do have a
thinking
couple things I want to
tea.
show off. I might have mentioned this a while ago, but again, another Amber, Amber gifted me the
Wichita.
the Buchita, and she also gifted me. Let me get rid of this paper I'm using as a bookmark. The Oshimi Shuzo Femme Fatale art book. This is put
Ooh.
out by Denpa, as you can see the Denpa logo in the back. Um, and it's basically just a collection of a bunch of art stuff. And I'm not going to show off a lot because obviously it's an art book, so the whole point is the art. But I will show off our favorite panel, which is the the Devil's Ecstasy. I don't know how well that came out. Hold on, one more time. Shooing
There we go.
Devil's Ecstasy.
That's
So
coming
get
out
that.
soon.
Hmm.
I know.
Morgana's manga makeup.
I'm so
I
excited.
don't know. um, but yeah, it's interesting having a
The dead
book.
look on Seamus's face is fantastic. No
I'm
expression.
just like, yeah, it won't be on that episode.
To be fair, go back. Welcome back, Alex is like gonna come out soon, and that's far more interesting for us to like take a
Come
look
back, Alex.
at. Sorry, Dark.
Alice.
Alice.
Welcome back, Alice. Sorry.
Yeah,
Alice. Okay.
yeah. It's interesting having a art book uh, kind of centered around the female characters in the Oshimi Shuto's books because like he has that tendency to write these characters that are meant to be kind of imposing or daunting or kind of scary, like scary women. There's always like this kind of undercurrent of like um like oh my god, these women are so scary and they expect so much stuff from me.
Well, it's
So
because they're also contrasted by the protagonist, which is a male and a wet blanket in almost every situation. They suck.
mhm. You read Avant Garde Yumeko?
Yes, the one that where Yumiko is like everywhere she looks, she sees like male genitalia.
Yeah, she's
It's
like obsessed with like penis shapes.
hmm
Um, so like this is a cool book because it has a lot of stuff that I'm unfamiliar with, like some of his like earlier stuff, and you could kind of tell that or like right now Oshima Shuzo's art style is like borderline realistic, like it's really natural looking, but some of his older stuff it was a little bit more cartoony. Is it like the people were shorter and the heads were bigger, and you see some of that contrast here. So like for example, the cover you see like the women on the cover, and they're kind of proportioned realistically, but a couple of the books or a couple like the series here, like it looks like very different. So it's kind of a cool evolution he's had. But um, I don't have too many art books, but this is one of the ones I have, and it's cool because say which one about Shime Shuzo. Um, you can see a lot of things about him,
Yes.
but
And he will say
hi-
a lot of things about him.
yeah, his art is almost always just like really interesting and really good. Um, and besides that, give me 1 second. I got Knack 2, everybody.
Oh my
The
god.
best game ever. Now, I just wanted to briefly show off my recent obsession um, because we are doing. Um,
One moment, folks. We've lost Seamus, so
We're back.
You're
yeah,
back.
you're
Seamus is
back.
back.
All right.
Where I could literally hear ye and see ye.
That's so
Oh,
weird.
you were. That's why he was still here because he's.
Yeah. He was still connected to an extent, but like I guess he wasn't getting enough bandwidth over to the website, and the website just didn't know what to do with it. All
Weird.
right.
That's okay.
L-
Seamus is
let,
back.
let, let me carry on from where I was. I just want to show off briefly my current obsession that's been for the last few months is buying Hong Kong movies. There's a
Oh my gosh.
couple of boutique labels. We all know this one, right?
We already did this with Jackie Chan City Hunter. Oh
The,
my
the,
gosh.
there's a couple of boutique labels that in in uh in Europe that are putting out like these Hong Kong films remastered in like HD, and it's nuts seeing these movies in all this detail. Like it's like I'm used to seeing these movies with like all the messed up film effects and the grains and all the dust and scratches on the film. Plus, add to that all the VHS like crunch and digital bad stuff. Like I've seen these movies a billion times with just worms covered in the screen, just looking terrible. And seeing them all nice and crisp and cleaned up, it's kind of nuts. And some of these movies weren't made to be seen like that because you could see like the fake mustaches and like the glue and stuff like that, just like really cheap effects, and costuming is really fun to see it. And this is my whole collection, by the way. If I showed you my whole collection, it'd be like it take forever, but I just wanted to show this off because we're showing off uh my bachelor pad, you know. um but yeah, that's all I got for show and tell. And of course, again, knack 2.
Get that out of
Everybody.
here. My gosh. All right, Seamus is back. Seamus, did you have any what you've been reading or anything to show?
I have what I've been reading. I just haven't actually talked about any. Hold on.
Seamus is gonna pull out a stack of like 13 books.
Oh,
Oh
Panorama
shit! It's a
Island.
manga. That's a great
Yeah,
manga.
it is.
And
And
is that coming through?
Yeah,
yes,
but
Upside
it's
down.
upside down. It's
Oh.
upside down. Jesus. There you go. Hey, Yoshiharu Tsuge. What's the title of that one?
Red Flowers, like the second collected volume.
Are those breakdown press books? I forget what
No,
Paranoia.
this is drawn a quarterly. They're doing like I think they're meant to publish all this stuff, which will be 7 volumes. I think they have the other
Damn.
one somewhere. The
People need
third
to
one was
understand, like, importing books for Seamus is fucking expensive. It is not cheap.
these ones are okay because they're like drawn a quarterly or like I don't know what's the word,
I think you get a
a
better rate
relatively
in Europe than
mainstream
actually. Yeah.
publisher. It's not like I don't know Gloria where it's like that's like proper indie where it's like all right, well I'm paying as much in shipping as I am in actually the actual book.
Yep. That's for sure.
Like this stuff you can get in like a store, like a store over here. Just order it online.
Right.
Where's this there, Max? Yes, I could show you a stack of 13 books, but none of them are manga.
Panorama Island is a good one, though. I've read that one. It's a Suihiro Maruo adaptation. Oh, now Dakazu's disappeared.
We have. Where's one other one? Oh, actually, it's there. Yes. Because I do plan on rereading this soon enough.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it is also upside down.
Also upside down.
Oh, that's Masumura Jushi or Masumura 17's Children of Mootown, one of your favorite manga.
Yes, talking about
What's your big books?
the cost of shipping.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I disappeared for a second because I realized I also have some things that I can actually show. I don't have a lot of physical copies, as people know. I purged most of my physical stuff, but after buying some Glacier Bay book stuff, they gave me a copy of The Mermaid and the Prince by Tada Yomi. And right here, you can see, very nice book. This is a very small book.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's very tiny. So, and I also, of course, I'm a person of my word, so I picked up the physical edition of From This Flame. Fantastic
nice.
book from Glacier Bay Books. You know, we're pull quoted on their website for this thing again.
Oh,
My
are we?
entire like speech is basically on
God.
there.
How many ellipses and brackets is there in
Right.
that quote?
At least 5, probably more. Probably more.
Yeah, it's a good book. It has good art.
Yeah, everything I talked about how I love that book, but I do have a manga to talk about, and I want to see if this works. But I'm gonna post a link here in chat to. Oh, good, it is a clickable link.
Mhm.
I read a new book, a new manga. It's called Zeikin de Katta Hon, which translates to "Books Bought with Taxes." It's a manga about working at a library.
Oh,
The
What's
main
the taxes?
character is a delinquent Ishidaira. He hasn't been to the library since elementary school. And in the first chapter, he wants to rent a book, but at the library he's gone to, they're like, there's a book you haven't returned in 10 years. We need you to basically uh, replace it. And like, it's interesting as you go through the story and Ishidaira ends up working at the library, you learn a lot about like the Japanese library and how it works. And I wanted to ask Darfox some questions for comparison. Cut to Darfox looking at camera with a gleam in his eye. Because they cover a lot of things here, like, and I don't know if this is true for Dar, but one of the first things in the first chapter is the delinquent tries to like pay back the book and give them cash, and they're like, we don't handle cash because the library is considered a government office, and handling cash is a pain in the ass. So
interesting.
we don't do that.
Handling cash is a pain in the ass, but we'll take it if you got the cash. We'll
Well, the
take it.
interesting thing is they tell this delinquent, you have to go to the bookstore and buy that book to replace it for us and bring it back.
Oh, weird.
Isn't that
That
nuts?
is
I had to do that.
Oh,
I don't know how
really?
many years. Yeah, it was like I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. I was getting the bus back up to Dublin, and I left a few books in a bag with some clothes and like the I don't know compartment thing, and it was all robbed. So I
Mm-hmm.
had to like go into the library and replace like the second season of Lost, and actually one of the books I couldn't replace because it was like this book from the 1930s on
Oh no.
like the relationship between the Mongolian tribes and the Ming Dynasty in like the 1700s. That was
Wow.
like out of date, so I think I just gave them like €20 for that. But the other ones are right. I did actually just go on to like I just bought a new copy of Lost and went some other book, and that other one they were just like, oh yeah, this is actually technically doesn't really exist anymore. So yeah, just give us €20 there.
Okay.
Wow.
Was the process like they're like, will you please replace this or give us money? That was the case.
No, I don't know. I think they just said yeah, you can just like buy copies, replacement copies.
That
Except for that
seems
one that I
so
couldn't.
weird to me, like having to like, okay, you got to replace these books. And like the delinquent tries to give money, and they're like, "No, you got to go to the bookstore and buy this children's book about alligators." And he's all embarrassed about it, right? So,
Well, it's
but he
funny
does it.
because
He's a good
I
boy.
know I know that like in the U.S. there are a lot of books published specifically for libraries, like with specific binding, and like the cost of some of them is different than it is for like a regular consumer. So I'm surprised that I mean, like I pay late fees and I always pay in cash, or coin. Really, it's usually like 25 cents. Um, so that's really interesting. I've never heard of somebody just replacing the book completely.
Yeah, there are some other things in this manga that I thought was interesting. I read the first volume so far, and they were complaining like if someone rips a book and tries to fix it with scotch tape, it's actually a huge pain because they got to remove the scotch tape. The scotch tape damages like the pages, and they have to use this specialized tape instead. So they're like, I
Yeah.
wish,
If a book is turned in with Scotch tape, it's pretty much damaged,
yeah.
and we might likely charge the person for the book.
Wow.
Hmm. And then like getting customers to replace books is a huge pain that requires tons of paperwork. So it's better to try and repair the book at the library by the staff themselves. That was a thing. I don't know if this is a thing, Dar, but like in this manga, the library, you have to take the books out and the shelves when you're putting books back, and you have to line them all up so they are all like the same like row. Smaller books get pushed to the front, so like they're all like the spines all
Oh, so,
match.
mhm.
Yeah, so it's
Oh,
flush.
yeah. So you're basically just like blocking like a grocery store. Yeah. Uh, you said do you take them off the shelf?
No, just like if a book is smaller next to like a big book, you bring the smaller book forward so the
Sure.
spine
Yeah.
matches. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was the case at your library or not, but other
Yeah. I
things,
mean,
yeah,
anywhere with shelves and stuff like that, it's kind of like, I mean, it's busy work and it's kind of annoying, but yeah, it's kind of stuff that like you want to be proud of your shelves. Hopefully.
it's fun. Yeah, that's the work that the delinquent gets puts on because he's part time. He originally wants to like start working there because he had to go through a bunch of books on the shelves to look for a missing rip page, and his goal was to find it. And then after he find it, he wanted to know who rented it out so he could beat him up and get revenge on them for ripping the book originally. And like, the thing is, somebody ripped the corner of the book and was using it as a bookmark. I don't know if that
Oh,
happens to like you've seen that happen. Oh shit, Dars, he's he's nodding. That's a thing. That's
Yep.
fucked up.
people are rough with library books.
Jeez.
I mean, that like speaking nothing to the actual like bodily fluids you might find in books and stuff like that.
Mm. Yep. Uh, there's a chapter in here in this first chapter where a book was returned by a girl. Her mom is a hoarder, so the house is disgusting, and it like the book stinks.
Oh no.
But she denies the stink because to accept it would to accept the fact that her house stinks. And then like they're saying it's harder to get books replaced when they stink because it's harder to get people to admit to it because it's like more subjective for
Mhm.
this amount of smell that one person tolerates. I don't know if you have to deal with a stinky book, Dar.
No comment.
I can only imagine. Oh man. Other things like sometimes smaller books get lost inside big books at the overnight drop off. You know,
Oh,
sometimes books get put back on the shelves without actually being, scanned back. So then, like, it's a big mess where, like, oh, you never returned this book, but the customer's like, but I swear I returned it. It's like, no, you got to replace it. And later on, like years down the line, you find it inside a book, and you're like, oh shit, got to contact that customer and tell them they were right. Also, Dar, there was a chapter in here where like a college student was like, I'm gonna get my money's worth from the fucking library, and they just brought all their electronic devices to plug into like the outlets that they have at the desks.
Use electricity.
Yeah, but then the delinquent goes up to him and is like, let's actually calculate the amount of money you save. And it was like 10 yen
oh
a
yeah, it's gonna be
day.
like nothing. Yeah.
And so like after a
Yeah.
month you could buy like a bottle
He,
a
he
bottle
really
drink.
he really should just be bringing a kettle in with him and just boiling the water. Like that's probably where you make the big savings.
Mhm.
Making tea.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, but there you go, Dar. I read a manga about working at the library. I thought it was pretty good.
Wow. Did they? Never mind. I'm not gonna say what.
No, give me some. Okay, it's okay. You don't have to give it to me.
Did they did they cover government funding and lack of buy new books and
I
all
wonder
that
if that's
stuff?
as much of a problem in Japan as it is in the U.S.
Not yet. Mostly the first chapter was like, if you see, there's like one of the guys who works there is super buff, and the reason he was super buff is when he started, he was a super like scrawny guy, but he noticed that like customers would try to like, yell at him and his female coworker, but not at the older gentleman who works there. And he recognized that, oh, people yell at us because they think we're weak, so that he got buff to like be able to like, you know, not show that he's weak. So it's
Well, that
funny.
explains it, right, guys?
Look at that sweet star and his guns.
Those guns.
that's a weird that's a weird thing,
Well,
especially
yeah.
like in a library book, because like people get yelled at in all sorts of jobs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's
Oh
like
yeah,
Oh yeah. Don't yell at people. It's not nice.
they might get buff. You
Mm-hmm.
never know. You might be somebody's fitspiration or
Oh my
whatever
goodness.
fitspo.
But there you go. That's my what you've been reading. So I think everybody went. So
Yeah.
yeah, pretty good show and tell. More interesting that we have like the video. So I really encourage people to go check out this video. Hopefully everything works. And we will put this out on video. Oh
we'll
man.
make it work
And we'll
somehow, some way.
yeah. Oh, what is
Oh,
that?
another book.
That's nothing to do with manga. I'm just like, I'll just spend the rest of the episode just pulling up all the books I have in this room.
That's great. That's great. You're gonna give more work for Darfox, who's gonna constantly have to cut to you. It's
What
gonna be
what's your current research fascination?
I think I'd say Northern Ireland, Irish history in general. I'd say would be the current one.
So
To go
how many books do you have on that one subject right now?
right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are the ones I haven't. Oh, 11. I haven't started reading any of those yet. There's Order 12. My Fight for Irish Freedom 13. Yeah, I have 13 books at the moment.
So, how long is your checkout period?
Like 3 months, 2 or 3 months.
Oh, okay. So
I,
you got it a while then.
yeah, and I can take out 40 items at a time.
Wow.
40?
I got like the normal is like 12 in like 2 months, and then I've been part of a book club, like a monthly book club, and I went down one day to like check out the book club book, and they were like, "Oh, you're part of the book club. We'll upgrade your card." And actually, a friend of mine who started working in a library was saying, "You've now got like a student research card level, so like I get 40 items out. It's like a whole period of 2 weeks. It's like 2 or 3 months at a time." Um,
Wow.
I was like, I was like, I'll see how long it takes me to hit the limit and just see what it is. And like, it's 40. I'm like, I don't think I'll hit that. No, I've hit that a few times.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome.
See, Seamus is actually getting his taxes worth
Mm-hmm.
at the library.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, my friend was complaining about the amount of time he used to spend because like a couple of years ago they linked up all the libraries in Ireland, so like I can order a book from any library and get it sent to my local one. And he was complaining about that, and I was like, "Shut the fuck up! That's the greatest thing ever."
Yeah.
Like once that happened, I was like, "Yes, I can get it. I can get it. I can get it all now."
Yeah. In Massachusetts, as long as you're a Massachusetts resident, you can have a Boston Public Library card. So I have an e-card for the Boston Public. I'm not in Boston anymore. I used to use Boston as my main branch, but now I have an e-card for Boston Public Library, which I use on my tablet, and then I have a card from the place I lived last, which will probably expire soon, and then a card to the place I live now. So I have 3 library cards, and I use them. I use them mostly for ebooks at this point, but yeah, it's a beautiful thing in the library.
Very nice. All right. We're going to wrap up our What You've Been Reading section. We'll be moving on to our main segment in a moment. But first, let's talk about next week. For episode 401, unfortunately, Morgana will not be here. You're going to be away. Sad.
I'll be at a librarian conference, in fact.
Oh,
Yep.
very topical.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so when Morgana is away, it's time for the Yen Press foray. Wait, did we decide that foray is a terrible word about pillaging or something?
Foray is like an adventure, right?
No, I think we looked it up and it means to pillage.
Oh.
It does, but like a lot of words mean think back into time. We can change the meaning. I don't think if you say a foray now, people are like, all right, Docus was going off robbing people and burning stuff down.
Yeah, foray means a sudden or irregular invasion or attack for war or spoils.
Please don't attack Yen Press.
We're not gonna foray Yen Press.
Please.
We are doing that. It's like an irregular attack in the sense of we're going to read the books.
Yeah, an irregular review of Yen Press books.
Yes. So we have a triple dip to finish out our Pride and Panels I Want to Be a Wall by Honomi Shirono. We have New York, New York by Marimo Ragawa. And Catch These Hands by Murata. So yeah, Morgana made a list for us to check out these Yen Press books for Pride and panels. So yeah, Yen Press triple dip next week.
I have all those books in this room right now.
So
I can show you what they look like.
yeah, stay tuned for that. Okay, everybody, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, it'll be time for our main segment, Manga in Motion, on Classmates Doukyusei. Welcome back, everyone. We are here for a Manga in Motion for our 400th episode. We're going to be talking about Asumiko Nakamura's Classmates, the anime film, or Classmates Doukyusei. This is available over on Amazon. Let's see. I have the information right here. The film was announced in 2015. It came out in Japanese theaters in 2016. Produced by A1 Pictures. The staff was composed of Shouko Nakamura, who is director, Akemi Hayashi, character designer, Chieko Nakamura, art director, Ritsuko Utagawa, color designer, and a lot of female staff. No surprise. Yeah, and it's about an hour long, so you can watch it on Amazon Prime in English. Let's see, we have the characters of Richto, and we also have Kusakabe, the blonde one, and Harasen, oh, that bastard. But let's see, Richto is played by Kenji Nojima. He actually now voices Mamoru from the new Sailor Moon Crystal.
Interesting.
But Darfox and Seamus would know him as Ginoza from Psycho-Pass. Ginoza is the glasses, no nonsense guy.
Oh, yeah. Okay, from season 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. Kusakabe is played by Hiroshi Kamiya. Most people will recognize him as Captain Levy from Attack on Titan. Darfox will know him as Kiyoshi from Prison School.
Kiyoshi Dono. Yes.
That's right. And then Harasen is played by Hideo Ishikawa. Most people recognize him as Uchiha Itachi from Naruto. But specifically Darfox, you'll be tickled to know he plays Funai in Kaiji.
Oh, that piece of shit.
You must be good at playing a piece of shit then.
Fucking typecasting right here, everybody.
Well, truth be told, we can't speak ill of Funai anymore because we too have done the Funai.
We have Funai.
We have Funai.
I think we need to mention something. Seamus has seemed to have gone missing in his camp.
He's been taken over by a void.
What's up, Seamus?
I'm here.
Oh shit!
Oh shit! That is great. Thank you, Seamus. That was a good bit. People need to watch the video.
Right.
Yeah.
Illuminate. I think there's some schmut on your camera now because you put tape on it, didn't you?
Yeah.
I think you left like adhesive on it. That's funny. You're gonna be cleaning it the whole podcast. Like,
it's all good now, everybody. Okay,
we're not doing this for another 200 episodes anyway, so it's great.
That's right. At least. Yeah. Let's talk about this movie. Let's see, Morgana. You love Asumiko Nakamura's Classmates. It's one of your favorite manga ever.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of this anime movie?
I'm like 95% sure I'd seen it before.
Okay.
So I mean, I enjoyed it very much. I talk all the time about how much I love Asumiko Nakamura's Noodle People, and seeing her Noodle People animated is a lot of fun. Um, it reminded me a lot of like oh, what's his name?
Oh, Masaki Yuasa.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. He had nothing to do with this, but the kind of like bending, stretching, rubbery legged thing that he does a lot in his films is kind of in here a little bit, and it works really well with her characters, with her artwork, her style. And the character designer did a good job of making that work, I think. The story is pretty much exactly the same as the first volume. There's very little variance. You don't get a lot of the background with Harasen that you get in
Good.
that. Yeah, I know, I know. What's funny is I watched this movie and then immediately afterward I read volume 2, which was great because it set me up perfectly.
Same.
Like
Yeah.
reminded me exactly what was in volume 1, except for that stuff with Harasen. And then there's some stuff with Harasen in volume 2, which we will talk about tomorrow. Except we'll actually, by the time this comes out, I've talked about last week.
You're breaking with time paradox. Time paradox.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I enjoyed it very much. I I noticed, and I think Dar, you mentioned this too. There's like Amazon has a little trivia thing at the top that you can click, and it said that this was like the first yaoi film to get like a theatrical release, which I thought was really cool. I think
Interesting, right? Like that's kind of surprising to me.
yeah,
Um,
um,
but like I just assume animation with like boys love had just a comfortable home going straight to video or what streaming or whatever, and so
yeah.
it's interesting. Tidbit there.
There's until recently there hasn't been a whole lot of BL anime available. I mean, there's been some, and yeah, usually it's like OVAs, right? Or I don't even know if they're like I can think of things that are long running anime series that have BL tones but aren't like strictly BL. Like I'm thinking of Descendants of Darkness, which I think
Mhm.
is Yami no Matsui in Japanese. That's a series that's like it's my favorite genre. Not technically gay, but basically gay. Um there's a lot of those available and have always been available, but not any like explicitly like this is boys love stuff available. So yeah, it was interesting to see this had a theatrical release, especially since it's only an hour long. I don't
Yeah,
know
it's
that I've
very short.
It's very short. I mean, it didn't feel like it felt complete, right? Because it was that first volume. So it didn't feel like it was lacking anything to me, but yeah, it was quick. Which was kind of nice. Just I could just sit and watch it one sitting. No, didn't have to worry about anything else. Um, I'm so used to 3 hour long movies these days.
Yeah.
Movies don't need to be 3 hours long. 1 hour is perfectly sufficient, I
I feel
think.
like we've
No,
been
no.
harping on that recently.
Yeah,
They either need to be an hour and a half or 3 plus. No in
yeah.
between.
No in betweens.
Either
Exactly.
like a bite size or a marathon, right?
All right, wonderful. Before we get some more thoughts, let's turn to Seamus. Seamus, what did you think? You were not a fan of the manga because you classically do not have time for teenagers and being gay and their feelings. So,
That's true. I hate to use it today.
yeah,
Um, what was I gonna? It was all right. Like I think I liked it better than the manga because I think the animation. I don't know. It was nice. It was like I liked the animation style. Like it was a bit like different from usual. Um, their relationship. I think my main thing after watching this was I was like reading up. I was like, wait, there's a whole thing where they're in college together. And I'm like, that sounds way more interesting than when they're like 15. But I guess they don't have an anime of that. Um, yeah, to be honest, it's probably a good thing it was 60 minutes. For me anyway. I don't know. I think it kind of got in, got out, and was like, all right, done. Trying to think else about it. Nah, that's about all I got to say. I think.
I love having Seamus's face to put next to his heartless hate of the youth. No, now we know the full being. It's not just like a
Like what
disembodied
people don't
voice.
know is like I just go around like I don't know punching shooting soccer balls that kids are playing with, and I don't know. What else can you do from a distance? Like they don't see me. You
If
know, I'm like that. I'm like that a DC sniper in the van.
yes, if you're shooting fucking balls.
Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
wonderful. Dar, what did you think of this animated BL film we watched?
It was good. I feel like similar to Seamus, I had a better experience with it animated. I thought I liked the manga fine, but animated it worked really well, and um, I didn't know much about the film, so one of the very first shots of the film is like oscillating fan that happened to be CG, just because that just makes sense. You go make that CG. You don't really have to draw that. Um, but when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, is this like a 3D film? I didn't know this was a 3D film." And so like I had a brief moment of panic, but then we cut to um the class trying to sing choir, and I was like, "Oh, okay, it's 2D animated." And also, I mean, there's probably a lot of stuff going into the animation, and there might be computers involved, but it looked very soft and like tactile. It had that texture that I really like from animated films. Um, and speaking of like newly people
Hmm.
and like interesting stretchy animation, the scene where the guy was running um, because he was crying.
Yeah, he ran out of the performance. Yeah.
Yeah. So jumped kind of midway through the film, sort of. They're in this performance and he starts tearing up in the middle of the performance in front of like the whole school, and he just runs out, and then the other boy runs after him. And there's a scene where it shows him running and he's bent like all the way almost like 90 degrees forward,
It's
and it really
Naruto running.
Yeah.
well, no, it really reminded me of the demon running from Devilman Crybaby. You remember
Oh
Yeah.
shit! Even
what
better.
like it was memed at the time because it was so weird looking, but like when what's the main character's name in Devilman Crybaby? I forget.
Akira?
Yes,
Yeah,
Akira.
Akira sounds right. Yeah, when Akira was getting turned into the demon and stuff, right? Like he got way better at track and field and stuff, and he started running like
Yeah.
like an animal. It's really goofy looking. It reminded me of that. Speaking of much like a Yuasa.
Yeah.
So I enjoy the texture of it, and um, it was kind of uh fun to have like a volume in a manga kind of compressed into an hour film. You know, we don't get that very often. We usually get it across like the first 3 episodes of an anime or something like
Hmm.
that. First 2 or 3 episodes of an anime. Um, and the film didn't seem rushed to me. Though, then again, I don't remember the details of the manga, so it's possible that they cut out plenty of details. I would believe you, but the film didn't seem rushed to me. The film seemed those like paced, like it had a deliberate pacing. It wasn't like a breakneck speed. So I had a pretty good experience with it. Do we know if they're going to do more of this? Is there any
It's been a while
Wasn't this
since
from
this
like
one.
2016?
Yeah.
Yeah,
2016? Yeah.
Like 6 years
probably
ago.
not.
I
Well,
doubt it.
I think we brought this up as well recently, but it's hard to tell if they had plans with it, and then maybe COVID like torpedoed it. Um,
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is, as far as I'm aware, a lot of BL, you'll have a creator make one volume's worth of manga, and then it's successful enough that they like make a sequel volume. But like sometimes even they're not. It's not like the classmates manga is not. There's like one and two, and then there's like winter. It's like not numerical because they kind of come after the fact. There was no plan to make a long series. They were kind of just putting out one thing at a time. At least historically this is kind of how it has worked. So I don't even know like how far Asumiko Nakamura had planned on doing the manga at the time that the movie came out. So um but the nice thing about this is like the first volume and this movie, it really, you don't, I mean, more is good and I'm always happy for more. You don't really need more. It's a pretty cohesive like story. But that said, I would watch more. So,
yeah, and having read the second volume, I'm not going to talk much about it because we already talked about it in the past.
right. Yeah.
Um, but the stuff with the teacher gets way more like weird and predatory kind of thing, and this competition there that's like really weird. It makes it like a way more like drama llama kind of stuff.
And
So
which might be
yeah,
less appropriate for like a theatrical film, right? Like they
yeah.
tone that stuff down way, like a lot in this, and I have to wonder if it's because it was kind of going to a mixed audience. Probably mostly an audience who is interested in BL, but I wonder if like having that kind of mentality of like this is going to get a theatrical release. There's only so much we can put in here that's like appropriate, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Like, I watched this with my wife, and when we got to the Harasen stuff, she was like, "Oh Jesus!" It's like, "Yep,
It's
a lot of
worse.
music teachers like being predatory.
It gets worse.
It happens quite often in like
It,
fictional. Let me
yeah,
tell you.
she don't know the half of it.
Yeah,
I
those
know.
passionate music teachers.
Listen, my wife and I know multiple music teachers in real life who have been busted for like sleeping with
Oh,
students. It's not great.
Gross.
Yeah.
you can now see us cringe when you say this kind of shit now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know,
because
right?
it might be like a interesting fantasy and drama for like fiction, but when it's real life, it's fucked up.
It's
So
fucked up. It's a little fucked up in fiction too.
it is. It is. I will say I enjoyed this movie too. My wife enjoyed it a lot. However, let me tell you, the first 15 minutes of this movie, the one that covers summer,
Hmm.
all the music stuff, my wife and I had to constantly pause this video to complain about everything that was wrong. Okay, look, Morgana's cracking up, Dar's cracking up, Seamus looks like confused. Get ready for. Okay, hold on. I need to look at the Google Doc I made because I made a Google Doc
Oh
Jesus.
no,
I'm glad you two have each other.
there's a
that my
manifesto.
wife and I have each other that we could
Yes,
like completely like go into this. Okay,
yes.
listen. When we
Classmates
covered
music errors.
classmates on the podcast prior, I did complain about they got something wrong in like musically because they made some weird translation choices. It's back in here, okay? But it's even like because this was animated and because they made certain changes to like the music and everything, it was even worse. So let me just start going over this, okay? The song that the boys are singing that Hara Sensei introduces to them, like he puts a giant piece of sheet music up on the wall. It's in treble clef. You don't write boys parts in treble clef, okay? Choir music is not written for guys in treble clef, so that's a weird fucking choice. My wife and I were convinced that the person in charge of like making all the music stuff, probably a piano player, maybe doesn't know. But you don't write male voices in treble clef, okay? It's not common. It's a very weird thing to teach. Okay, this also makes a complete mess of something later, which is the most confusing scene later. The guys are singing too low. Like Hara-sen sings, and then the guys sing it back an octave down. But when they do the performance later, it's where Hara Sensei was singing it. If you're a music teacher, you would tell your students, don't sing an octave down, because why would you practice something that isn't in the right place? I know I'm getting looks like Dakazu, go touch grass. Okay, I get this. Okay, I understand, but
I'm
you must
reading
let
the
me do this as a music teacher.
I'm reading the doc along as you're saying it, so it's really funny how like
Yes,
yeah.
there is no consistency with like because later on when Kusakabe sees Rihito practicing, Rihito is practicing in the correct key and the correct octave. But then when Kusakabe sings, he sings like an octave down for practice. And also, it goes as low as a D2, which if you know like what that means, it's super low. High school boys don't sing that low. And like the only reason it's being sung that low is because you have an adult voice actor. They wanted to have him sing that low. It's a bad choice. Bad choice. Okay. Number four is the craziest thing because number four is the scene where they're sitting outside and they're talking about the music. Okay. Everything in this scene is wrong, and it's wrong because the anime made different choices. I said at the beginning the song was written in treble clef. There's a scene where Richter is like, "This is me, right?" And then Kusakabe says, "No, this is treble E." First of all, they're saying E and they're saying letter like key names instead of like the actual solfege. This is my original complaint when we did the manga, but it doesn't make sense. It's very wrong. Also, I learned Asumiko Nakamura originally got it wrong because she was like, "It's a natural. There's a natural on this, so it makes it a regular me." That's not the case. When I look back at the manga and looked at the original sheet music, that E was an E flat, and that should have been a fa, and a natural on it raises up, makes it a fee. None of this makes sense to anybody else, but it makes sense to me. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, and also because you changed the song to be in treble clef, when Rito says, "Oh no, you're looking at treble E," that doesn't make any fucking sense because now the music is in treble key. Okay, that's it. Oh, I'm so getting so mad about this because they left lines in there that don't make any sense. They only made sense in context with what was shown in the music, and even that was technically wrong. And now because they changed the actual sheet music to be in the key of G, everything that they're saying doesn't make sense. I got so mad and so dumbfounded by this scene because there were so many mistakes when it comes to this. Ugh.
I got massive deja vu when you were talking about point 4? Did we talk about that
Yes,
when we talked
that
about
was the point that I was
Okay.
brought up. But like in the anime, it's like 5 more things are wrong because of it. And then I found a new mistake by Asumiko Nakamura herself that was in the original manga. It's nuts.
Okay,
And
I'm
then when
gonna.
at the end of that scene, Kusakabe said the translation says, "Let's stop sight reading." Okay, but in Japanese he says, "Let's stop looking at the music." Sight reading is a very specific thing. Okay, I had to go in my music when I went to music conservatory for college. I had to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning to go to this fucking class of like sight singing. It sucked. You had to look at music. You had to read it on sight. That is sight reading.
Okay.
When they're practicing music, you don't call it sight reading. Bad translation. Okay. There's also a scene later where Harasen is conducting. Why is the baton in his left hand? Also, why is he fucking conducting with a baton? You don't usually conduct choirs with a baton. It's a real choice, okay? And then, like, is he left-handed? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure he had a watch on his left hand, which suggests that's not his dominant hand, okay?
Okay,
Why
now
do you
we're getting
conduct
into the
with a
weeds.
Hold
fucking
on now,
baton in your
Dakazu.
non-dominant
Hold
hand?
on now. When I used to wear a watch, I'm left-handed and I kept it on the left hand. So
Okay,
I
okay.
think
Alright.
I'll
That's
disputed
fine.
grounds now on that one.
I was asking my wife about this, and she was like, I'm pretty sure you keep your watches on your non-dominant hand. Okay.
It's
So,
some
okay.
Sherlock Holmes
That's
type
fine.
shit right here.
Right? I know, we're
fine.
getting
Because I was looking through the manga and I was like, where does it show that Harasen is left-handed? Okay, but that's fine. I'll take that. Okay, that's fine.
And Dakazu, why does that matter so much? Like,
It
He's
doesn't
just
really
mad.
matter.
He's
It's more the
just
baton
mad.
thing.
Got
is
something
weird.
against left-handed people here.
Why is he using the baton on the left hand? Why, Seamus?
if he's first of all, he's using a baton, which is a weird choice. But like, you're supposed to keep the baton in your dominant hand, so that's
Okay.
why. If it happens to be in his
Interesting.
like left hand, it's a shot from the manga, which is why it's in his left hand. It's weird. And the last thing, at the performance, this wasn't so much the case in the manga when we read it, but when Kusakabe starts crying, they stop the performance. You know, everybody stops singing, like Harasen stops conducting. Listen, I've been in multiple concerts where you don't stop for nothing. The only time people stopped is I've seen a kid throw up on stage. They had to
Okay.
stop for that. The other
Yeah,
time I
that
saw stop, it was a concert band. The guy playing the tuba was sitting on a riser in the back, and he fell backwards, knocking like the acoustic shell like over. They had to stop for that because that was a
yeah.
big event. But like I've seen kids piss on stage and they don't stop. Okay, this is a real thing. You
Yeah.
don't
Jeez.
stop. So Hana Sensei stopping.
Get through it, Cookie. Get through it.
But
Yeah.
Kusakabe wasn't even sobbing like audibly.
No.
Like you just see that shit and you acknowledge it and you're like, oh shit, but you keep going. Like there's no reason to stop. Hana-sen, bad teacher, bad music teacher.
Yeah, and
I mean, he
also
fucking
like
wrote that song in like treble clef anyway. So that's
For
already
many
bad.
reasons. For many reasons, a bad music teacher.
well,
Yes.
he's also. I mean, I wonder if it's like because he's kind of emotionally invested in these two students in particular, that like that
Yeah.
like really caught him off guard or whatever. But I agree. Like I
You don't stop. You don't
you
fucking
don't
stop for nothing.
No, unless it's really like a big deal. Like yeah,
Well,
like,
I know
if-
it's done for a dramatic effect, for dramatic tension. So
Right.
I understand why it was done.
If two of them ran out of the, they would stop if two of them ran out, right? Or would they keep going?
yeah,
with two?
but he
But
stopped before
he
that.
stopped because he saw
Yes.
him crying.
Yeah.
Which is
And that's
not,
why he ran out, because he realized everybody was seeing him cry.
Right,
Yes.
right.
So he had that moment of
whatever. Like
panic.
I said, that's for dramatics. That's fine. My main complaint is that entire scene with like Kusakabe talking to Rift about like the music and how everything is wrong because of the choices they already changed. All right, I will go touch grass now. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, I'm
like-
gonna post something there.
Did they ever
Discord.
take a shit and kept going?
Probably.
I
like
guess
a
I've
bit-
I guess-
seen kids. I have seen cases where kids like shit their pants and they had to keep going.
They're
Listen,
young enough, man.
listen.
It's like a marathon race.
No, listen, Seamus. this is what you tell kids in a performance. If you feel sick, if you feel like you're going to pass out, just sit down.
Sit down. Hmm.
Just sit down, and then, you know, after the song is done, get off the riser and walk off stage. Wait till
Wait,
it.
and so do you tell them then if they got to take a piss or a shit? It's just like, well, you're staying on stage.
Basically, you should have done it beforehand.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna post in our Discord chat uh something, a very like a poetic image of that whole segment.
You just posted the wave file of my rant and
It's
how big it
Oh.
amazing.
is.
It's beautiful.
I will post that.
Uh,
If you're watching the video, you've seen it now.
Yeah.
If you're listening to the audio version, you just had that all in your brain, saw the waveform and all the other waveforms empty, but you have to
That's right.
picture it.
That's right. But I will say, after we got through summer, I enjoyed the film very much because I didn't have shit to complain about. That was like,
Yeah.
that's wrong.
The music thing is really just like an excuse for
I
the
know.
boys
I know
sitting
it's an
together.
excuse, but if
It's
you're gonna,
it's a setting, right? It's
Yeah.
it's a texture of your school or
Yeah.
whatever.
but,
Yeah.
if you're going to put things in and they're gonna be wrong, I'm gonna notice them.
Right.
This is a
Dakazu,
doctor's thing.
can you, maybe I shouldn't say this on air, but like, can you start like a consultation for like manga and anime? Like, if you're putting singing in your shit, you better call Dakazu Inc. Because
Right.
Dakazu Inc. will sort your shit out.
I don't know. I've noticed this more often than not because plenty of people use things like music notes, and it's clear to tell if they understand the notes that they're putting on page or if they don't make sense.
Yeah.
A prime example of a manga where the music notes on page make sense is Blue Giant. Blue Giant makes 100% like complete sense.
And you're a mega fan of that, so
I am a mega fan of Blue Giant. Gee, I wonder
And that's why. And that's why. It's the only music manga that knows music.
Yes. I will say, as we were watching the movie, I pointed out to my wife what Darfox said about like the characters when they get excited look like Beaker, and I saw a lot of Beaker.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Well, in the profile, right? When they're in the profile, the ma.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Okay, oof. Kind
Yeah, I know.
of spent.
Coming off that rant, I don't know what else there is to say. It's good. It's
I mean,
pretty.
we slightly talked about the how they cut some Harasen stuff and how that's probably a good choice. Like,
I don't honestly I don't remember what Harasen stuff was cut. Do you remember offhand? Because I believe they cut some of the stuff.
Yeah.
In the first volume they had a flashback of when Harasen first met Richter
Okay.
Yeah.
and how they had a connection already.
Okay. There's that scene on the rooftop where Harasen kind of gives him some romantic advice, sort of. Was that in the manga? I don't like
I think
that.
so.
I think
that
so. Yeah.
that kind of like gave him some good guy points in my head as I was watching it.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
he's a bit of a. I don't want to say he's a complicated character because he's still totally preying on teenagers.
creep, yeah.
Um, but in the second volume, you kind of see him in high school and his relationship with a music teacher, or no, with a chemistry teacher, and kind of put some stuff into perspective. He's weird. He is probably my least favorite part of this whole series is just like he becomes like a non-issue after the second volume. So
Well, until he gets his own volume.
yes, that's right. He does have his own. But you don't have to read that. It's not important to the
No,
story.
you don't have to. I mean, the reason he got his own volume is because he's a popular character, though. People like that character.
I mean, he's good looking.
People like I don't know, like the dangerous, dodgy parts of the story.
Yeah.
It attracts a lot of people's attention a
Yeah.
lot of times.
Yeah, there's an
It's
appeal. I don't.
it's yeah, it's something that we don't fall for usually. Something
Yeah.
that it repels us. But I think we're kind of, I don't know, the minority, but we're definitely a vocal minority of like we really don't like that kind of stuff usually. Whereas a lot of the fan base, or I'm gonna say just fan bases in general, like they like that kind of like the dodgy, dangerous stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely read manga where there are questionable relationships where I'm I'm able to let go a little bit and just like let it happen. And this one, because I know nothing's gonna come of it, right? I'm okay. I'm not okay with it, but like it's Hanasen is not important to me. There are definitely books where it's like this is seriously predatory and very scary, and I don't know if I like it.
Hmm.
This one doesn't bother me as much because he's never gonna have his way. It's just not gonna happen. Um,
They like to tease it though.
they
They like
do,
to tease some of that stuff in volume 2, but yeah.
yeah.
It's more about feelings.
Feelings.
Kusakabe like feeling up Rito's back in the park. That was a scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, another thing I noticed is like there's a lot of scenes of like Rito and Kusakabe drinking Kirin,
yeah.
like a brand of Kirin. It's a real brand. I wonder they must have had like a sponsorship tie-in.
Yeah, I think in the manga they like changed a letter in the logo so that it wasn't a copyright infringement, but I wonder if they got the
Beering.
yeah,
It
like
was
the
it was also changed here, but like the logo itself is like a complete copy of the Kirin water,
interesting. Yeah.
the sparkling water brand that
Is,
they have.
yeah, I was going to ask. I assume it was just sparkling water because
Hmm.
There's
the
also they also make beer though, right, Kirin?
Yes, they're
Yeah, I
actually
was
more
gonna say
known for their Kirin beer.
I thought so. I've had Kirin and I was like, wait a second. I know they're not drinking beer. I know that's sparkling water, but
what's the other famous Japanese beer?
Sapporo.
Sapporo.
What about is it Asahi or
Oh, Asahi, yeah.
I don't
Asahi is
know.
also very popular.
That's the one that started appearing over here
Oh,
the
Asahi's
last
the
few
one I was
years.
thinking of. Asahi has like the very sharp logos,
Yeah.
like the letters.
Hold on.
Yeah.
A, yeah.
Oh, wait a second.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Seamus gonna go get a fucking pint. Asahi.
Is it gonna be one of those double
Asahi has
can?
these cans now that like you pop open the entire top
Oh,
and
weird.
like
Oh, it's a
oh
Oh
bunch.
shit,
yeah.
that's it.
That's
That's the
it.
Asahi
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the one I was thinking of. It's very in my head. That's just a very
Very well
typical,
done.
stereotypical Japanese beer.
Yep.
That's a green bottle. All right.
Yep. Very
I think I've
nice.
been putting them in the wrong recycling bin.
More fun we can have with the video podcast.
Oh yeah, showing off beer.
Breaks well over somebody's head. Eh, Seamus? You know all about that.
I haven't done that. I never broke them over people's heads. I used to smash them on the street.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Back when I was, young and doing vodka and Red Bull.
In your misspent youth.
Yep.
Oh man.
Uh
I was going to mention. Oh, so the scene where he goes to the last show of the band, right? And he has like a beer. Um, what's the legal drinking age in Japan?
20.
20.
And he clearly had like a school uniform. So is that just one of those things where they just like they didn't care
I
or
guess so. Well, because
Yeah.
The
it
guy
was
working there is probably like 20 something. He's like, yo, whatever.
yeah. Well,
he's a cool guy?
because Kusakabe said like it's an all ages show, so like they know that teenagers are going to be there, but whatever. Some people just don't care. You know,
It's for the drama.
it's for the drama. He looks very mature for his age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
I,
serious.
I definitely thought like that scene it worked a little better in the film because it had a very like classic misunderstanding. I heard only part of the thing and I ran away like, oh no, my life is ruined. But
Right.
like, he didn't witness the full interaction with the fangirl,
Right.
right? It was clear that he was just being nice to the fangirl. He wasn't really interested to her.
Yeah.
But like he was drunk and he was around the corner and he's kind of like hearing like the bits and pieces and any kind of affirmation just was like a stab in his heart, right?
Right.
So like in manga form, like that would I feel like I don't remember what it was like reading that scene honestly, but I feel like that would be just very like kind of boring, kind of like oh this is very stereotypical. But in the film, it all happens and it gets wrapped up in the span of like 5 or so minutes.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier and funner to watch, and you get to enjoy like the voice performances.
In
obviously,
another
and
manga, that would have been a cliffhanger for a chapter, and then that would like not be resolved for another volume or something.
Right.
yeah, that's the kind of stuff that like it's really annoying about like teen romances and stuff. Even in my opinion, this isn't even a shameless thing. It's just like typical, like
He said.
tropes
He
that
said. She
really.
said. Yeah.
Well, it's always just like, oh, they or like what they the best stuff is when they're like yes, I accept your love confession, and then the person eavesdropping, they run away crying, and then the person continues, um that's what I would like to say if I
Right.
was like not already in love with somebody else. And we just
We
lost
lost Dakazu.
the main man, so hold on. Right.
Okay, some video problems aside, I feel like we're wrapping up with our conversation. Morgana, do you have any final thoughts about the Classmates anime?
No, I think I enjoyed it. It was, I like I said, I'm pretty sure I've watched it before. I would watch it again. I don't care about the music errors, because I'm just like letting them wash over me. I'm just like I'm not even listening. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I'm in it for these noodle boys and their noodle problems.
Yeah, you gotta love those Beaker boys and their beautiful, beautiful faces.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just pretty. I mean, I'm a sucker for Asumiko Nakamura's artwork. A lot of hands, a lot of beautiful hands, a lot of like just long people in weird poses running, parallel to the road. But yeah, you thought Devilman Crybaby was some weird shit, but BL did it first. Classmates did it first. And to be fair, Devilman Crybaby is another one of those not technically gay, but basically gay.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's very, very famous.
yeah.
Yeah, you got Akira and you got
Uh,
Rio.
like, we're both gay. We're gonna go to the end of the world, literally end of the world, kind of shit.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen that last episode of Devilman Crybaby.
Oh, it's a lot.
It's a lot. It was a really intense show.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. A lot of fun to watch.
All right, Seamus, you have any final thoughts?
I think more 60 to 70-ish animated movies is what's needed. Because I was like, wasn't like, what was that one Angok Hour Sound? I looked it up. That was 71 minutes. I was like,
Yeah.
that's a decent length,
Perfect. Yeah.
Don't stretch it out too far. The animation doesn't suffer because they're like, oh, well, we can't do an extra 20 minutes.
Yeah. We gotta go back to things like Makoto Shinkai doing The Garden of Words, a crisp 45 minutes,
It's short. Yeah.
Wait, is that the one where it's all where it's raining for most?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Yes, you should go back to that.
Yeah, we gotta get Makoto Shinkai away from Brad Wimp's music videos. Yeah, I don't know. Darfox might disagree, though. What do you say, Dar?
No, I agree with that actually. Found us the Classmates. It was cool.
Yeah.
I liked it. I'm eager to talk about the second volume in the past already.
Right.
Oh, boy. Spoilers about when we record this.
You were eager to talk about the second volume.
Exactly. Please listen to episode 399 to hear our take on Doukyusei ni. See that?
Yep. Well, I feel like that ends this discussion of The Classmates BL animated movie. And yeah, that'll be it for episode 400. Man, it feels absolutely crazy that we have done 400 episodes of Manga Machinations. Like, who could have even thought that this would be possible? That Darfox, Morgana, Seamus, we'd be sitting here having done 400 some episodes of this podcast?
Maybe you have. I have not. But I've been here for a while, I guess.
I don't think any of us have.
No, true.
Yeah.
I guess that's the question. Who's close? Was it Dakazu?
Dakazu's probably
It must be
closest.
Dakazu.
Yeah.
Dakazu's only missed like 3.
Yeah, I mean, I've probably been out like 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess after that, maybe Darfox is on the most, but also there was a period of time when Darfox was out for a while, and it was just me and Seamus towards the beginning. And then I guess, Seamus is also out sometimes as well. But Morgana, I was going back and doing some calculations, and I believe that by the time we hit 450, Morgana, you'll have been on more than half of all the episodes.
Oh, wow. All right. So just another 50 episodes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
Easy. We'll see if I'm on for all of those, but
Oh, true.
well, I did take some maternity leave in there. We all took a break.
Yeah, but I calculate
But-
those as well.
Yeah. I feel like I've been here for a long time. You guys were doing this for what? 5 years before I got on?
Yeah, something like that, I think.
4 or 5?
I guess because it would have been episode 200, so it would have been 4 years. But I guess
Right.
probably like what, 4.5, 5 when you actually became a
When I became regular?
Yeah.
Was it like the following year? I think.
Yeah, it was like 2018.
Alright, yeah. So I'm catching up, little by little.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And just think about it, Morgana. Eventually, we will hit that 10-year mark with this podcast as well.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yes.
But this was a lot of fun to do with the video.
You can all see our beautiful faces, and
Yep. Except for mine.
yep.
But, that's how it is. All right. I believe we have hit the end of everything. Dar, is there anything else to say before we sign off?
Manga Mac, go.
Well, all right. It is time to end this podcast. I want to thank Morgana and Darfox and Seamus for doing this 400th episode with me. I really do enjoy doing this podcast, and it's because of my 3 co-hosts, so thank you all so much. And also a big, big thank you to anyone and everyone who has been listening to our podcast and who has been supporting us. We definitely couldn't have made it to 400 without your help, so thank you so much for listening and continuing to support our podcast. And if you enjoyed listening to this episode, make sure you subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever else you can find us. Check out our website, mangamachinations.com. Our Tumblr is mangamachinations.tumblr.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com/mangamactv. Join our Discord by going to discord.me/mangamac. You can support us by buying us a coffee. Just go to ko-fi.com/mangamac. Send us emails, mangamachinations@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter @mangamacpodcast. That's Manga MAC Podcast. You can follow my Twitter @dakazu. Follow Darfox @Darfox8. Follow Morgana @MorganaRelina. And follow the disappearing Seamus at Seamus2389. Seamus is without an H. Oh my god. Look at him go. All right, thank you so much for listening to us this week. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.